ready to learn with us on Bass University Live. Bass University Live starts now. Welcome to Bass University Live. Good morning, good evening, Rich, whatever it is.
Evening, morning, it's all the same.
Yeah, we get you out of the deer stand. What's going on over there? I've been hearing rumblings of you in the woods. What's going on?
Oh, I caught up to a big deer last weekend. 2 weekends ago, I caught up to a big deer. This past weekend, I was humbled very greatly and sat in a chair for about 16 hours and ate snacks and saw nothing. So that's about, what I got, man. It's good to be here. Good to be back with Jay. It's always fun catching up with J Dog. So.
Yes, J Dog is with us. Jason Przekurat, just a tremendously consistent angler, one of the greatest in the sport, really. And we're going to dive into that with him here in a little bit. We're going to be talking about consistency, some of his strong techniques. We're going to try to pull out some lessons for us all to try to get better, because man, he's killing it. It's really amazing to see. And we so much going on. We are brought to you by Redfin. If you haven't checked out the Redfin sunglasses, check them out. I'm loving mine, wearing them, so comfortable, and love those. The Hatteras frames is what I'm rocking, and those are tremendously comfortable. I'm loving those. Give those a try. What do you got there, Rich? Do you know? Is those the none?
These are the Amelia frames, but they were when I got to hang with Hunter and the guys from Redfin down at the Ultimate Angler event, they were the frame that fit my face the best. And what was cool about them is that they have such a wide variety of frames. So whatever, everybody's face is a little different, and you can get the right frame that fits your face exactly how you want it. So it's they're good. They're nice shades, man. Clear lenses.
Yeah, absolutely. High-tech stuff. Check it out. We're going to have a lot more to talk about with Redfin as we go through the season with them. And I've got my Thump Gel Glow. Jake and I are packing this up. Jake and I are getting ready for the Insane tournament. We leave next week for Lake Martin in Alabama, where we are going to be tasked with catching as many 1 pound spotted bass as we possibly can catch, because that's how that tournament is scored. So we're taking on that task, and we know Thump Gel is going to be a factor.
So it's every fish counts.
It's every fish counts. It's every fish over 1 pound counts. And
what a cool format.
Yeah, using the Fishing Chaos app, you have to photograph and enter your fish in the tournament. So it's really unique, and I'm learning. I can't say I completely understand all the components of it yet, because we're learning as we go. But it looks like it's a 3-period event that the kids participate in, and the key is staying in that championship round right through to the end. The winners get cash, get scholarships, and giving away a brand new boat, for one of the entries in that tournament. So we're going to do that. We're also going to visit a few campuses. We're going to visit Auburn University, and Montevallo University is going to be on our hit list for Jake, as he's in his junior season right now, and it's time to go look around. Where do you want to go to school?
Exactly.
Who do you like? Shout out to Brooks Parker. He's going to host us down there at Montevallo when we go down there for a visit in just a few days. So exciting stuff going on here, and none more than and we're going to keep teasing it because it's almost here now. the release of all the new Bass University, um, I don't know, features and content that we're bringing to you very soon, just a couple of weeks.
Finger is on the trigger. Like I have promotional material that I want to get out, and the finger is on the trigger. And it might just some of the promotional material just might include our guest today, Pete, which is awesome.
Yes, yes, and we have to put a leash on Riz.
I want to I want to start putting this stuff out because it's cool. And
I know, I know. We're really excited. Look for Roku, look for Amazon, us to be part of that. Downloads.
yeah,
We listen to all the feedback from our Bass University people,
yep,
which is you. Thank you for the great feedback, and we've put all of that into our new release, and it's all you're going to love the new search engine and the capabilities that you're going to have through all the Bass University content. It's going to help you catch more. Well, Rich, it's going to help you be consistent, and
yeah,
that's going to be the key. Give you confidence on the water and consistency, and
consistency.
that's brings us to today's guest, who is arguably the most consistent angler in the history of the world, Jason Przekurat. Good morning.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
It's going good, man. We had you on in the spring, and I was reading through some stats, and because you have had really one of the most amazing starts of a career, most consistent starts of any career in the history of the Bassmasters. And I know I said that before, but man, just let that sink in a little bit. That's a powerful thing to say. And you brought up somebody that I missed when we were talking, because I had researched the guys that were on my research list, and who were consistent. And Patrick Walters was one that I failed to research. I can't believe he slipped under my radar. But in 2024, Patrick fell out. He got 12th place in the AOY, and he does not have the top 10 performance going like you did, like you do right now. Consistency. So that you brought up Patrick Walters, but you were more consistent than Patrick Walters, Jay.
Well, thanks, Pete. I guess that's definitely a good direction to be headed in. I'm still a little bit salty on how the year ended up for me last year, but I mean, I can't hang my head on it now because it's over with.
You know what salt does to you when you eat a lot of it? It makes you thirsty.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, thirsty and hungry can kind of fall into the same bucket.
Heck
And
yeah.
when we dive into the mental state of things, so we don't expect it to change much in your fishing, Jay. That's why we're talking with you again today about it and doubling down on consistency. And it's remarkable how consistent you've been. And one of the first things that I wanted to bring up with you and ask you about is, what are the little things that you do and you have done over the last 5 years to create the consistency, the things that people don't see, the things that happen behind the scenes? What are they?
Oh man, a couple of them that probably come to the top of my head right off the bat. Um, First and foremost is when I'm not on the water. I'm always doing something related to the tournaments that I'm going to be fishing in the future. Whether that's like even today, I'm going to go out today for a couple hours on a little lake close to the house, and I'm going to try some new techniques that I haven't tried before to try and almost replicate what I'm going to do, for instance, down on Gunnersville in February, because it's going to be very similar here right now to what the water temps are probably going to be on Gunnersville in February. So I'm just going to play with a bunch of different techniques and stuff like that. But on top of that, I'm also doing a ton of research. I feel like that's the number one thing that I do, especially this time of the year, is just get an idea of what I want to do and what my strengths are going to be for that particular tournament, or whether it's just, what I like to do at home. Like, for instance, right now at home, I'm probably going to go out and catch a bunch of fish on a jerk bait because that water's pretty cold, and just get an idea of, different jerk baits and different situations and suspend strips and sinking jerk baits and treble hooks. Just all the little things that are involved, not just tying on a jerk bait, throwing it out and catching a fish. It'll be going through all the treble hook situations. This size treble hook will make this
Wow.
jerk bait sink a little bit more. This one will make it float a little bit more. Just all the little details that go into the season. And then another thing that comes to mind, if it's not the off season, if I'm actually practicing in a tournament, would be basically all the little things that I gain knowledge throughout the entire practice. So I guess an example of that would be like if I got bit off of a little stump or something like that, I don't just write that off in the back of my mind. I'm always thinking about places. There's a reason that a fish was there. There's a reason that a fish was using a spot, using an area on a lake. A fish doesn't just live on a place for no reason. There's always a reason behind something. That fish could have been 12 inches or it could have been 3 pounds. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm always going to have that logged in the back of my mind. And that's kind of where, when it comes down to when we talk about being consistent on the water, when it's day 3 of an Elite Series event and you got 3 fish in the box and it's 1:30 in the afternoon, that's when those little places start to creep back into my mind. Like, hey, I got bit off of that stump. It was day 2 of practice, but I only got one bite there and it's 5 miles away. I'm going to go run to that stump and hope I
Wow.
can put fish number 4 in the boat. That's kind of almost, I guess, I don't know the exact word I would use for it, but just keeping everything on cruise control and having something in the back of your mind every time you're on the water. Because personally, me, running new water during the tournament, it works at times, especially if I'm on a good pattern or stuff like that. But if I'm not on a pattern and I'm just struggling to get bites, that's when those, mental notes come into my mind of, where I got one little bite and hopefully I can, get a bite there again and then run off of that for the entirety of that day.
Man, that's my mentor said one of the most important features of a great angler is their memory, their ability to remember just what you talked about. Like, all right, I got a bite on a stump off the edge of this point on
Hmm.
Monday. It's now Thursday or Friday, and having to remember that and remembering the you know, a stump that's similar to that I
Hmm.
didn't get to
Yeah.
fish or something like that. But having the great memory of those little instances that a lot of people blow off, maybe, and but the great anglers don't, and you exhibited that. That's a great point that you made. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. I want to go back to one of the things that you said because it's fascinating to me. What what in the world haven't you tried? You're going to go try some new techniques that might apply. What has Jay Shakir? What's new in Jay
Oh
Shakirat's
man,
world?
there's the world of tackle and techniques and stuff like that is endless nowadays. I feel like it's not necessarily the exact lures and stuff like that. It's just modifications to baits nowadays. So, for
Mm,
example, like I talked about the treble hook situations on the jerk baits, you can change a jerk bait entirely with the treble hooks you put on it. It's just little things like that. So it's not necessarily, throwing an all new bait because those are pretty hard to come by nowadays, unless we're talking about Japanese stuff and crazy other techniques like that. But just kind of the standard is just utilizing the different terminal tackle you can apply to your actual tackle. Like for instance, we could start talking about Nico rigs and stuff like that. Just
mm,
when to use the right hook. The main thing for me, especially here, I'm fortunate to live up north, so we get to catch a lot of fish. I can go out on a lake and I can catch 20 or 30 fish. And so I have that luxury of knowing what hook hooks them the best. So in a tournament
yeah.
situation, I went out to a lake and caught 30 largemouth, and I know that this hook is the deal. Like this one's going to get every fish in the boat. I only lost 2 today, and it was probably because I didn't fight them right. So that's what I like to do in the off season, is just know what the bread and butter is. When I get a bite on the elites, 9 times out of 10, that fish is going to get in the boat, because you're not going to get a ton of opportunities on the elites. So knowing what hooks them the best and what gets them in the boat is definitely nice to know.
Being around a lot of fish is key
Yeah.
in establishing that. And Rich, I see you signaling me over there, so let me throw it to you.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna ask a question here it's not gonna derail it, but it's gonna take you back to something else, Jay. You're gonna go out today or tomorrow, whenever you said you're going out, and your mindset is you're gonna replicate what you're gonna be dealing with at Gunnersville.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I understand that. I follow you. It makes total sense. Conditions wise, water, the whole deal. There was a coin flip that happened early this fall, and Gunnersville's side of the coin flip, if I remember correctly, is a no live scope tournament, right?
Yeah.
How does that play into what you're about to go do?
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, more or less what I was kind of talking about. Like, I want to go out to this place and just get my cadence down, know where my bait is at all times. That's the main thing. Like with live scope now, obviously we know where our bait is all the time, right? But if you can almost create a mental note in your head, or it's almost like a muscle memory. Let's go back to the whole jerk bait thing. I've seen this jerk bait 1,000 times on live scope, how far it goes down on 10 cranks, where I'm at in the water column and stuff like that. If I almost have a muscle memory of that jerk bait, going out on this little lake for a couple hours, and then take that same muscle memory and knowing how that jerk bait works under the water, how fast it sinks and stuff like that, I can always be at least close to the strike zone that I want to be at, if I'm fishing the depth I want to be fishing at. So that's most of, what I'm trying to accomplish when I go out there, is just the muscle memory. Because if you're in the strike zone, 75% of the time, your odds are going to go way up. And if you're not in the strike zone, that much of the time, it's no different than trying to blind shake a minnow or something like that. Muscle memory is everything. If you know that bait sinks, 8 feet in 3 seconds, then you're already in the strike zone. You can start working that bait back, and your foot off the bottom. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing mostly this off season, is getting ready for getting my bait in the strike zone without actually seeing it on the Garmin.
So today, or when you're going to be on this small lake, is the box on or off?
Oh, it'll be on for sure. There's no doubt it'll be on. But if I do get on a really good school of fish, I just won't look at it for a few casts, and then just kind of get an idea. For instance, reel my bait down, know that I'm in the zone without actually, being in the zone, and just have that confidence without looking at it for a little while. Catch a few fish, go back to it for a little bit, maybe try a different technique, get into that zone without looking at it, and then kind of repeat the process.
That's great stuff and great practice for that. And it brings me to a thought process. I work with teaching Jake all the time, and one of the things that I see a lot of other people do this is they try techniques that are new to them, and on maybe a new lake or a new area. And I always try to say, let's find the fish first, and then you can explore with these techniques. You can, but the important thing is, because in other words, you can take a brand new technique and go to a great lake, but you're not around any fish, and you lose confidence in that new technique because you didn't get any bites.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the number one thing for me, is if I can go out on a place I know there's fish, bring a new technique to it, and catch 20 or 30 with them, my confidence just goes through the roof. And then I can take that technique all around the country and know that it catches fish, because I know they bite it here, so I know they're going to bite it somewhere else, and at least have the confidence to lock it in my hand for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's great advice, and it's a great strategy. It's great that you have a little lake like that.
Yeah,
To
for
do it.
sure.
And let me ask you: do you when you're out practicing like this? And I'm curious because I do it both ways. But do you go by yourself, or do you bring a friend? Is a friend distracting, or how do you handle that?
Hmm.
I'll do both. Like today, I'm gonna go out with a buddy for a
Hmm.
couple hours, and we'll just go catch a few fish. Maybe figure out something new. Maybe we won't, but yeah, it really depends on. Most of the time, all my buddies are working, so I can't. I don't really have the luxury during the day of them being able to go out with me. So once they're done with work, then we can go out and lean on a few.
Not anymore. The clock's just changed. They
Yeah,
still
sure.
they still think that we have. I don't know why they still do that crap, but
Yeah,
side note, sidebar.
right.
Well, just to say, I find it somewhat distracting. Like,
Sure.
because you got the pressures of the friend and they want to catch fish, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, man, I'm trying this new technique. I don't know if I'm even going to catch anything,
No,
and
yeah, I don't really think it doesn't bother me any because they know what they're in for, and we kind of take turns, at the front of the boat, and then but then at the same time, he's always throwing something that I would never throw. So like he's always doing something that I wouldn't do because I'm on the live
yeah,
scope looking at him. He's throwing a Carolina rig or a jig, and then all of a sudden I'm like, dang, they're really biting that Carolina rig pretty good. Like I should probably slow down and throw something on the bottom, even though I'm trying to get them to come up and eat and they won't. That's happened several times that I can look back on. So
good. It's good stuff. And you mentioned something, and I want to dive in here a little bit. Talking about Gunnersville, it's probably likely going to be a jerkbait bite. You're going to go do that. What are some of the things, like we saw Hank Cherry win and developed a bait that has a tendency to tail sink, right? That goes back and falls
mhm.
backwards into a fish's face. What are you experimenting with? What do you think the best strategies are, or what are you trying to figure out with your jerk baits?
It's all fall rate for me. Basically, do I want that bait to perfectly suspend? Do I want that bait to sink at a really slow rate, or do I want that bait to sink quick enough where I can almost, get it to dredge into the bottom? So at least I know for a fact that I'm always in the strike zone without actually knowing. That's pretty much what it is for me, is just the sink rate of the jerk bait, or that's really everything in jerk bait fishing in my opinion, to get a fish's reaction. Obviously the action of the bait is huge, but the sink rate is probably one of the more important things about it.
Interesting. I remember, and when I started fishing jerk, one of the jerk baits that we used to be real successful with was the countdown Rapala. The we used to count them down. Jay, I'm telling you, we'd be off these sandy points, and I don't know if you've ever done this. I'm interested to hear, but you would count it down and snap it off the bottom. They would pick it up off the bottom like they would a tube. There were
Yeah.
times when they wanted that bait all the way down. Have you ever experienced that?
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, specifically on one of the rivers I live at home, it's probably similar to what you're talking about, just sandy bottom, current river, smallmouth. Largemouth do it too. We'll catch them on the bottom, especially really early in the year when the fish, they don't want to come up. They're stuck to that bottom when that sun's really up high, and they just want to be warming up in that sand or that mud or whatever they're laying in. So they'll just eat stuff off the bottom, and then kind of as the year goes on is how those fish will start changing, and they'll start to look up a little bit and eat stuff that's off the bottom. So yeah, it's all seasonal based here. Same deal.
Right. Because I've never seen that be a factor on a major tournament.
No, that's a unique deal. I think we fish too many we fish just too much TVA stuff, and just highland reservoirs and places that have a lot of shad. Up here we don't have the luxury of giant gizzard shad and stuff like that. We're more crayfish and bluegills and stuff like that. So
Yep. Those shad change things, and as I'm
yeah.
visualizing that, that forage base is everything, and
Hmm.
and that pre-spawn which we typically see, or even wintertime down there, those schools of shad are pulling those fish feet. They're feeding up. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you in charge of finding, putting that fishing on the bottom thing together for us, out there. Let's go win a classic doing that this year. That'd be fun.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Well, so you got this when we talked in the spring, the decision hadn't been made about next season, and you were open to whatever, but you were rooting for them to just leave it, open to use it if you want to. Now you're, you got about 50-50 going on. How are you feeling about that? Or, I see you're preparing for the classic in a certain way. Is it, how's that going to change your competition this year? What are your thoughts?
How's it going to change? Well, one thing that comes to mind, and I've thought about this a lot, just based on technology use and the way everyone likes to fish, and kind of everyone's got their own. Everyone likes to fish a certain way, right? We all go out, all of us elite guys go out, and we all like to catch them a certain way, and we're all going to try that when we initially hit the water in practice. Your Jason Christie's are going to be up there. Everybody's got their own deal. So, for instance, a good example I have of kind of the whole 50-50 thing, where I think it's going to be a little bit of a crowded atmosphere, I guess you could say. If you were to take Lake 10 Killer, and let's say we had no live scope in that event, I felt like Lake 10 Killer spread out really well. Now, for instance, 10 Killer was a pretty small lake, not very big, wasn't a lot of room to move around. If we didn't have live scope, a lot of those guys would be doing the same thing. We'd all be flipping the bushes. That would be, you'd basically just see a giant bush flipping tournament, which again isn't a bad thing, but for us, 100 guys trying to fish the same row of bushes and stuff like that, I kind of hate to see it like that, just because I felt like it was so cool to see the diversity of, the guy up on the bank beating the guy offshore or vice versa. But I mean, in general, is it going to shake some things up? 100% it's going to shake some things up, but I just would have liked to have seen it stay, just to keep that diversity on those smaller bodies of water, where a guy can go out and do, whatever he wants to do, and not everybody's bunched up, on certain places like Gunnersville. A lot of guys could be bunched up, on shallow places and stuff like that, because it's going to be pretty hard to dissect those Roman fish out there.
I didn't even think about it from that perspective of fishing pressure, how it's going to affect things without pulling, because it's interesting you say that, because in tournaments where, like for instance, I was down at the high school national championship and everybody was scoping and the banks were completely wide open to fish. Now it's going to be back to reverse, right? Everybody's going to be bank oriented and bringing a lot of fishing pressure on this situation.
I mean, I guess it's no different really than, if it wasn't all a lot of tournaments. 10 Killer was a unique one where it could be one on the bank, and other tournaments can be one on the bank as well. But I guess it goes back and forth. I mean, if you want to see a bank tournament with no live scope, you want to see the bank tournament, but vice versa, you're probably going to have to be offshore if we were to have live scope at like a Gunnersville, to win. Or maybe you don't. I mean, we saw some crazy stuff happen this year, like specifically with that 10 Killer event, with it getting one in the bushes and stuff. So it's definitely possible. And I think you're going to see a shift, a big shift in, the way fish are caught next year for sure. But it'll be a good mix up. I think it'll be cool to see it for a year, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, and to your point, and I brought this up with you before. The John Cox continues to pound consistent fishes or finishes in the AOY. Now you bested him. He dropped out of the top 10. I think he was 11th or 12th this season, which that's his worst finish in like forever. But calling an 11th or 12th AOY finish as your worst finish, I mean, that's spectacular. So the bank oriented, angler can still be very, very successful.
For sure.
Yeah, be interesting to see how this plays out. I want to dive in a little bit because I had an experience like this. It's going to be cold weather for your classics. They've been cold, and I have a statement that I use: a cold angler catches no fish. And I brought my son out fishing and got freezing cold and checked out. And I've seen it a
Hmm.
million times with anglers that get cold. We were looking at some of the whitewater stuff, and I know they're a primary sponsor of yours,
Hmm.
and they're talking about. I heard you talking about their warm weather, foul weather gear is something that really helps you in those really cold scenarios.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the last. I guess it's been probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months now, that I've been wearing the insulated suit. It's basically an insulated rain suit. So what it is it's not a, a lot of companies make suits that are really geared towards ice fishing, and they're very bulky and hard to get around. They're very warm, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to open water fish out of them. This one's an insulated suit, and you can open water fish out of it, no problem. No restrictions. I pretty much just wear a sweatshirt underneath it and a pair of pants, and you can go out and 30, 35-degree weather, 20-degree weather, whatever it is, and be perfectly fine. So that thing's definitely a game changer. Been for me for the last couple of years, ever since it's come out. I wore it in the Classic, actually, on Grand Lake when it was really cold that one year. And that was just a prime example of me never getting cold and being in the right headspace the entire day, especially for the Classic.
You get cold, man, you're out. I'm telling
Oh
you
yeah,
right now. You don't
100%.
you don't care anymore. You're
No,
like, I just want to get some hot chocolate and get in front of a fire.
yeah. If you're cold, yeah, you're out of the game for sure. I don't. That is the truth.
How in the world did they do? How did they build? Because I'm exhausted. I've got ice fishing gear that I use, and
Hmm.
when I get off the water, I'm freaking exhausted just from
Hmm.
trying to get up and down on the
Yeah.
boat. I mean, how
Right.
in the world did they build mobility into something that can keep you warm like that?
It's just the material of it. It's the same with their rain gear. It's almost a
Mm.
kind of more of a stretchy material. It's not so restrictive, when you're going up and down and stuff like that. You have to put it on to believe it. I tell that to everybody that's ever asked about it or heard about it. I'm like, you just have to put it on, and the rest will tell you everything you need to know. That's basically what I tell people.
Well, that's coming up on winter season. Man, it's a big deal, and of course, I know you and Rich are spending a lot of time in the woods. So, I imagine all the whitewater guys are spending time in the woods too. I
Oh
know they
yeah.
fish, but they do a lot of hunting over there.
Oh yeah, big time hunters over there. Everybody's been locked in the woods. I got fortunate enough to secure my buck this last week, so that was pretty neat. Biggest one I've ever shot actually with a bow, so that was pretty cool.
That is
No,
awesome.
no kidding. What? Give us the details.
Oh man, details were I had a decoy set out on a cut cornfield. I was hunting a fence line. This was actually down in Illinois, and it was game on. A couple of the days we were there was a lot of chasing going on, does everywhere. Was seeing a lot of 3-year-old bucks, nice up and comers every day. And finally, it was my last sit. I believe it was last Friday, and this buck came out on the cut cornfield and kind of did a. He kind of swerved my decoy quite a bit. It was like 60 or 70 yards. He kept skirting it, and he finally came in. Was going to come up behind the decoy at like 25 yards, and there was a big pile of brush and a tree. And of course, with mature bucks, what they do, he needed to take 3 more steps and it was over. And what does he do? Turns a complete 360 and heads towards the other side of the field. And this is probably 20 minutes before, it's past shooting light. So I didn't have a ton of time to figure it out. He was kind of chasing the does, throughout the field or whatever. And I was like, grunted at him a few times, no response. So I'm like, well, I've never actually rattled a deer in before in my life, and I was like, what a better time to try it. So I gave him a really good rattle for probably a good 20 seconds. He was maybe 70 yards away. And as soon as I put my rattling horns down and grabbed my bow, I look back up and he's just pinned directly at me, just coming right at me. And I'm like, wow, that actually worked. And he come to this other corner that was a good ways away. And I had one open shot. I knew he wasn't going to get any closer than what he did, which was 40 yards, which was a pretty good poke for me at the time. I think the furthest deer I've shot before that was probably 30 or 35 yards. So 40 yards was a big deal for me. But it was the one opportunity I had, a pull back shot, made a good shot. He took off to the other side of the field and he ran about 150 yards, 200 yards, and we found him piled up. Yeah, it was a pretty good experience.
You hunt exactly the same way as you fish. It's exactly the same. I've never rattled one in before. Let's give this a go on a Pope and Young class buck. Why not? Most people are like, I don't want to rattle. I'm not good at it. I might F this up. You're like let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Fish the
No,
way.
It was cool. I got the whole experience in that hunt there. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, you just right there in saying that, you just embodied, because there's so many parallels between hunting and fishing. But I mean, ultimately on this show, we're talking about the fishing side of things, but you telling that story just gave a different glimpse into the open mindedness that you have,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
also translates into your fishing. And
Right.
what I want to know is, did you always have that just glass half full, open mindedness, this could work mentality, or were there spots throughout your career where like your confidence was damaged and you had to like bring that back? And like, how did you work through that if you experienced it? Maybe at the beginning of your career, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't say there wasn't a particular time where I was like damaged or I was like completely down with my confidence and stuff like that. I feel like I've always been the kind of person, I guess I can think back to like when I used to fish off the bank, like when my mom and my grandma used to drop me off at the bank down by the river, like I would always have this, like you said, like an open mind to go try something completely different. Because I'm always looking for the next best thing. That's kind of been like my entire life. I'm always looking for the next best thing. Whether it was, trying to, there's multiple times I snuck up to the dam and past the private property fence, to go fish a little hole up there, whatever it was, it didn't matter. That's kind of been, yeah, that's just kind of been, I guess, the way I've been in my fishing endeavors the last couple of years, or maybe I guess my entire life.
Who'd have thought? Jason Przekurat, lawbreaker.
Yeah,
if
trespassing inside the dams.
If it was to go catch a catfish or 18-inch smallie, it was worth it for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I need to ask you the deer stats. How big? What's the deal?
It was a really massive deer. Biggest one, like as far as mass and the horns. Big body deer. I think they probably aged it around 5. And I believe it scored just under 140. It had
Nice.
it had pretty short tines, but it made up a lot in its mass. So it was my biggest deer ever. So
awesome, man. Congratulations.
nice.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. I'm not a hunter, but I know a lot of people that watch and fish hunt. I know Rich is a hardcore guy, but yeah, it's a great experience. I enjoyed hearing the hunting story. And we see it so often. A lot of the super talented anglers are hunters. And I've often thought about, diving into that world a little bit to help my fishing game a little bit. But it's congratulations on a big buck. I want to go back into your research and your practicing, and because this is in, like, sometimes I get a little I don't know. I treat fishing a lot like school a lot, and do you take notes like when you're doing those tests on your weighting and your hook changes? Are you Are you just keeping it in your mind? I know you've got a sharp mind and you remember a lot. Do you like your strike to catch ratios when you make changes? All right, I tried this hook. I've lost 3 in a row. Like how are you measuring the effectiveness of your changes?
Yeah, it's all memory. I don't usually keep any like notes in my phone or write anything
Yeah.
down. It's all, I mean, I guess the way I think of it is like my entire life. No, I mean, I shouldn't say my entire life, but a lot of my life revolves around fishing. So everything that I do, on the water, whether it's tackle testing or whatever, pretty much lives in my mind. There's not a time that I wouldn't remember what didn't work or what worked or anything like that. So back to the memory thing, I guess that's kind of where it falls into.
Yeah, that's yeah, you're obsessed with it. You're
Right.
one of
Yeah.
us. You're one of us, Jay, but you're next
Yeah.
level one of us.
Mhm.
Uh, that's great stuff. And man, it's great tutorials for guys that want to get in there and fish or learn how to fish, learn how to be more consistent. One of the things you talked about is you grew up flipping,
Hmm.
flipping and pitching. It's one of your strengths. You haven't been utilizing very much. Are you going to be utilizing that more this year with the changes?
Yeah, that's honestly what I've been most excited about. It's just
Heck yeah.
going back to the simple fishing of what I did growing up for 5 or 6 years. When I really started to get into the tournaments and stuff like that. It's just a simple jig, a simple Texas rig, either some 50-pound braid or some 20-pound fluorocarbon on a flipping stick, and just picking apart everything and anything that comes in front of me, whether it's off the bank or on the bank. That's honestly one of my favorite ways to fish, is just kind of be in that zone, be in that less than 8 foot of water, I guess you'd call it, and just start going.
Heck yeah. It's definitely one of my favorites and it's fun to watch. It's going to be cool to seeing a lot of guys doing that like yourself, which we haven't seen do that very much
Hmm.
on camera. So we'll look forward to seeing that and man, we look forward to watching you in this upcoming season, man. I really it's just amazing. And Rich, you said this and it was a great quote. I don't know who said it or where you picked it from, but salt makes you thirsty. Um,
I was, yeah, I mean, it's true.
and
I eat salty food all the time. That's why I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and chug 3 water bottles.
yep.
You eat backstrap for dinner for you know 10 days straight. You know what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, speaking of that, like it was um Chris Johnston. I get Chris and Corey all the time, switch. He fell out of the top 10 in the AOY, and that salt caused them to win back-to-back AOYs. Right? Exactly what you're talking about, Rich. So I know the season didn't wind up like you wanted it to this year, but man, you're knocking at the door every single year, and that big trophy's coming your way. I know it.
Hope so. Hope so.
Well, we'll be
keep on.
rooting you on. We'll be rooting you on for sure, guys. Check out all of Jay Sekurat's content at Bass University.
Yeah.
He's an amazing teacher, as you just heard if watching this show. So go over to Bass U TV and get it all checked out, and enjoy your downtime here. Good luck with your training, and we look forward to rooting for you next year out on the elites.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, you're welcome, and have a great day, Jay. Rich, that's just the most consistent angler. I think, right now, Trey McKinney is the only one that has a top 10. What's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for? Been in the top 10 every year so
yeah,
far. Trey's only been 2 years in the tour. He's been top 10 2 years in a row. Jay
yeah,
is just killing it too.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, you a lot of these guys and these anglers when they reach a certain point in their fishing, the ebb and flow of fishing being that you're chasing a little green fish that has a brain the size of a pinhead, and it that creates a natural ebb and flow to where, you know, the numbers in the data, it's going to shift around just a little bit, but over the course of time, if you look at the course of 5 years, 10 years, it's the same names. Like once they reach that level in consistency in their fishing, the who's here, it just floats around due to natural circumstances and natural factors. But like the guys that have that ability to just do it over and over and be so consistent, they just keep finding their way towards, you know, the top of the top of the class. And I mean, we've seen that since day one with Jay. You know, like we you know, we've been fortunate enough to have him as an instructor with us, like you mentioned, Pete. And you know, it's no surprise. I guess that's the easiest way to get at it.
I'm still, you know, I'm amazed. I am absolutely amazed that you're every year they're pumping in stiffer and stiffer competition into the tournament trail with powerhouse anglers, and yet there's a few guys that no matter who you put in front of them, they knock them down. And he's one of them. He's one of them. Chris Johnson, Patrick Walters, John Cox, just a few that are red hot coming to mind right now. Drew Cook is another one that is up there with him, and Brandon Lester, almost all of which are Bass University instructors, and except for Trey McKinney, which we'd love to get Trey in the Bass University class sometime soon. Guys, thanks for watching this part. We're going to be back with some more Bass U Live right after this commercial break.
We're off the clock to clock more fish, to fill our live wells and empty our coolers, because there's more to explore. The latest Humminbird fish finders work fast, see clearly, and know all the best spots. They fish even smarter paired with the Minn Kota and break down the water like never before. If you like your plans loose and lines tight, then it's time to explore. Only with Humminbird. Get right to the fight. New Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar puts you on more fish with an ultra-clear, rock-solid picture of underwater action. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
Do you love bass fishing? Then you have to check out Bass University.
Access over 1,000 bass fishing seminars and episodes.
Get discounts on the tackle from your favorite tackle brand.
Learn the latest techniques from the top pros.
And never stop learning. And never stop learning.
And never, ever stop learning. Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
The original Element rods were really Cashin's first launch, kind of in a price point level. With that, we got a lot of feedback.
And that's what brought about the Element Z2 and its launch. The most affordable American-made rod on the market.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Welcome back, guys. I want to, we had Randy Howell on, and I wanted to re-invite everybody. It's still live. Go over to King's Home. And the boat giveaway is active. It's going to be happening on November 15th. I want to invite everybody to participate and help the cause for King's Home that Randy works on for young kids and mothers. And it's a tremendous cause. So get over there and buy your ticket. You might win Randy Howell's boat, Riz. Did you enter yet? I'm entering today.
I didn't, but you pinged me. I'm going to go absolutely enter it because that is what they're doing over there matters. It makes difference. And it just, for whatever reason, with there's a government shutdown. Obviously, right now, everybody knows that. And I've been paying attention to some of the things similar to what Randy's doing after we talked to Randy, and there's a lot of different ways that we can make an impact on people that are less fortunate, and what Randy's doing is one of them. And just anybody watching, just your local food banks in your area, they need your help right now. It's they're in a rough spot. There's a lot of people that are feeling the effects of it. A lot of us are in a great position to where we're not feeling that, but there's a lot of people that are. And just know that if you're in a position to help out, there's a lot of people that can benefit. And Randy is doing something right now that falls right in line with that. So it's awesome. I'll definitely be buying my ticket to try to win Randy Howell's awesome boat.
I've done it at most years. I forget to enter sometimes, but it's reminding me to enter.
Yeah.
And it's kingshome.com/Randy Howell. And you can donate additionally, other than just buying your ticket for the boat. But it's a great way. It's a great way to help out. And Justin, are you hanging out with us? I appreciate. I was glad to have Jason Przekurat on with us. We had to move our schedule around a little bit, but Jay was amazing to have on with us, and I appreciate you helping out with reminding me of his great deer that he just got recently. I appreciate that.
Yep. Well, I'm I'm a big time hunter, so had to make sure Jay could show off his deer. I'm not a big time hunter. That was a joke.
I thought you were busting my chops, but
my lighting looks phenomenal today.
What's that?
My lighting for the show looks phenomenal today. I don't know why.
Yep.
What's going on here?
Did some things in there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's shocking to me, but all right.
Well, I don't know. I always look like a ghost. I guess with Halloween just passing by, it works out. We have to work on our lighting here at Bass U, but yeah, I know everybody hunts except for me, and in this fishing world now. I guess now you too, Justin. But yeah, but that was great.
Yeah.
Great getting Jay on. What's going on? I know we're talking about this release, Justin. You've been working really hard, as well as all the other people at Bass University, getting our new release out. But man, we're getting pretty close. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, we should start teasing some stuff here this week on socials, so keep your eye out for that. Yeah, it's exciting times.
It is. Look for us on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick TV, and as you know, it's gonna be a lot more functional. I know, Justin, you've been working a lot on the apps, on your phone apps.
Sure.
You've been building a lot of the organization for the site. What's something you're most excited about?
Honestly, I'm just most excited about the functionality of the app. Just it's very clean. It's visually appealing. It makes it fun. It's
heck yeah.
I wouldn't say anything necessarily that I did that I'm that excited about. I trying to do my best job, but I'm just excited about the layout of the app, how it all looks visually, some of the cool stuff that we added. Yeah, I'm excited about the whole thing, man.
We are too. Rich, I know you and I have been working, and we all have, but in particular on the Winter Circle, we're going to be releasing a lot of new things there.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me every time we do a Winter Circle interview, something just, flies off the charts and surprises me that I didn't know or didn't hear before.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be exciting, because the goal with the Winter Circle interviews and the Winter Circle, well, it's teaching content, is, I mean, it's obviously going to be specific to a win on a body of water. So it's going to give us a really cool catalog and a search capability for people, all over the country. We've done them on Rayburn, we've done them on Norman, we've done them on Hartwell, we've done them on Champlain, all over the place now. So it's going to give a really unique experience to somebody who wants to learn about a specific lake, wants to learn about a specific, time of year. It's really, we've taken a step into the weeds with it, so to speak, to really get to some of the nitty gritty stuff to, help somebody accelerate that learning curve inside of the scope, which is great. And, we're going to keep going down that road. And we're even going to expand on it a little bit. Pete, you and I talked last week, and we're going to be introducing some content that we may be just letting out as just some extra credit type stuff, not stuff that not necessarily the guy who won the tournament, but hey, a lot of times the guys that come in second, third, and fourth, they were on great patterns as well, and they did something really great on these places as well. And we're going to start unveiling that information as well. That may end up as winner circle. It may end up as extra credit, whatever we decide to call it. But we're going to keep going down that road. And, I think it's going to be a great option for our customers and our membership base to learn from a different approach. So it's exciting.
Absolutely. It is, and the techniques that we're teaching through our courses is fantastic, with the jerkbait techniques, flipping, pitching, whatever it may be. But that winner circle dives into, all right, here's how the flipping patterns can be effectively used on the Potomac River, right? Specifically, if you're a guy that fishes in Florida, here's specifically the techniques as they apply to fishing hydrilla on the Toho system or Rayburn, as we go through the winter circle. And we something I really like about it, and I'm really proud of for us, is we're talking to champions from the elite level throughout the Toyotas, Opens, and BFLs. We're talking to the guys that are fishing these bodies of water. And I love the BFL angler, because these are your weekenders that they've spent their lives just loving fishing in their region, and they're super experts on their bodies of water that they're winning on. And that is something very cool that I think we all can learn from. And it's so fun to celebrate with them, because they're not necessarily getting a lot of love, on the mainstream media, so it's fun to be able to get the enthusiasm and the excitement from these guys that are winning on all the different levels. So really cool guys, all coming to Bass University in a couple of weeks. Speaking of Bass University, who's our sub of the week, Justin? Who's our guy or girl?
Shout out to,
who do we got?
Coach Prince, sub of the week this week. Always rocking the Bass Shoe gear. Shout out to Coach.
Is Coach still?
He's in the midst of a playoff run right now. If I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, I believe anyway. I don't know when their next or last game was, but he's still in it, Pete. He's still coaching.
He's coaching football. Where does he coach at, Rich?
South Carolina, at one of the big high schools down there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you walk into the Bass U seminar classroom and you look throughout the whole classroom and you're like, all right, which one of these guys is a high school football coach? It's not hard to figure it out, and that's why he's Coach Prince.
We're glad to have Coach with us as a Bass U ambassador, guys. Check that out. We have a Bass University ambassador program. If you're excited about Bass University and you love our program, and I want you to reach out to us. We have a really cool ambassador program where we're looking for people that that are out there in the bass fishing community that want to be part of us. And if they want to get involved with the ambassador program, how do they do that?
Yeah. So, guys, what we're going to do this week is we're going to put a story up on our pages with a link to fill out our ambassador's application. If you'd like to be a part of it, it's simple. You just fill out the application, show us that you're competent to do so, and we're looking forward to working with you guys. So yeah, we'll have something out on socials this week with our application for the program. We're looking to grow it, and we're not turning any applicants away right now.
So we're looking for high school guys, college guys, all the way up to Coach Prince level guys.
Yep.
If you love Bass University, you love learning how to catch bass consistently, we'd love to talk to you and have you join our program. So go check that out. What else we got? I think that's about it. Is there any new news? I'm always forgetting something.
This week's release is Brian Thrift Untangling Fishing Line Choices, which is a really good one because it's really overlooked. There's a lot that pertains to fishing line and the type of line you decide to use for certain applications. And Brian being Brian, I don't think there's a better guy to teach that than the most OCD guy I've ever been in a boat with. So we love you, Brian, but you're next level on that. So
nothing happens by accident. You see the guys at the top level, they're there for a reason, and diving into the details and getting things right. Like, I'm totally impressed with Jay's work ethic here in the off season as he goes through the process of making sure he has every tool in the box correct. And you're going to want to definitely listen to Brian Schmidt's teachings on how he selects his fishing line for each job that he does. So look forward to checking that out. And Brian, thanks for being part of Bass University. Thank you, Riz. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jocelyn and Jason. And shout out to Jeff Olson.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Olson. That intro, by the way, every show, it like gets me fired up. I can't wait to start talking to our guests. So shout out Jeff Olson.
Yes, looking forward to the Winter Circle Open that is being created as we speak.
It may be being created as we speak right now.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week at Bass University Live.